Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you this morning. Yes, family, it's a little different because I'm usually not on at this time. I'm actually getting ready for meetings today with Quest Unite Africa. But honestly, the Most High put in my spirit to come on and just tell people really what we see happening right now. Right now, we are in, especially when you've been following the events in the Middle East, rest assured that those events directly affect us directly. So what's being done right now? You're going to have all of your folks in government, they're all on standby. They're all actually at work, most of them, especially if you're essential personnel. Reason I can say this confidently is because I had been involved in one of these scenarios, not quite on this scale, but in magnitude, I might add. But during a time where there's regional instability and being able to get the proper reporting, because you want to make sure that you have all the intelligence, all your indicators, and things of that nature. So obviously, as things kick off, you want to have your real-time reporting. And that's key for any type of battle, any type of army or military. On top of that, I believe this is me. I believe they'll probably delay it another 2 or 3 days because they need to get what they need to get in terms of supplies. But that's also a double negative because the more that they wait, the more other things in the region pop off, i.e., their ground and their logistics for the support of Hamas, Hezbollah, and other pro-Palestinian groups. On top of that, you now have countries like South Africa actually voicing support for the Palestinians. So you see that not only South Africa, but you also have Russia and China voicing support for Palestinians, and Russia and China have pushed on out a Palestinian peace plan that the state of Israel vehemently rejected. And there's no peace plan or things from the U.S. rather than negotiations of Palestinians that are American citizens from Gaza. So, this to me is, when when I started this channel, we had a lot of hiccups and we witnessed a lot of things going off. We witnessed in 2022 Russia crossing the line into Ukraine. We witnessed in 2021, it was literally, well, Russia this and Russia that. It was literally a war of words that was being conducted primarily by the US. Let's keep this in mind. And Russia. And then the West joined on into that. And you had a lot of tension and things of that nature because they didn't even want to invite the Russians to the Olympics. I mean, come on, family. This is not very far history. It's actually very recent in the last 2 years, but it seems like it's recent just because of the sheer amount of activity that has been happening. It is mind boggling. And not only is it designed to be mind boggling, but it's designed to provide a level of fear. Because if you're not grounded in Yahuwah, if you're not covered under the blood of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, you're going to be in this tailspin that this world is going through. And best believe, family, this world is going through a tailspin of epic proportions. And the polarization has begun amongst us. To do what? To divide. Well, what do you think on this issue? How can you say this? How can you say that? All I would say is when you're confronted with those questions, I would say, well, how could you treat black people the way you've been treating them for these last 400 years and expect us to say something different? To expect us to align to what you want us to say, how you want us to respond. I like to throw those questions on out there. Those are thought questions. Those are logic bombs. Nobody likes to play logic parables because you want to know why? Because when they open their mouth, they usually begin to drown in their own sinkhole that they created. So, right now, we're seeing an operational pause or an operational delay. Yeah, they dropped the leaflets. Yeah, they said 24 hours. Yeah, they said this. I'm still holding firm. I'm thinking 48 hours. I'm still holding firm. And now we're about to hit that 48-hour window here in the next couple hours. This Monday coming up, late Sunday, early Monday. And the reason I say that, if I'm a military ground commander, I would say, look, even though things are in transit, you don't want to delay, and honestly, you can't delay. The more you delay, the worse it is. So if you have a carrier strike group coming in, I'm sure probably from the US's perspective, they want to delay as much as possible because from the US's perspective, they don't want to fight. Let me explain this to you, family. The U.S. does not want to fight, but it has to. So when we see this, think about that with Iraq 20 years ago. It was over 20 years ago. I was assigned to a casualty replacement company. That's what they called us. Casualty replacement company, CRC, because they figured if things were going to go bad, we would be rapid replacements. Get loaded up in a C-17, C-5, and get up on out of there into theater. As a 20-year-old at that time, that is, and that was very unnerving. But I also knew, I said, thank you, Father, because my life is in your hands. Whether it go good for me, whether it be bad for me, I give you praise and I give you glory. Everything worked on out very well for me. But that's when we had gone up against Iraq. And really, Iraq alone at that time. This is different. You're not going up against Iraq. They're not going up against a small little nation that they can bully, that they can have a massive effect on. They're going up now against a conglomerate of nations. You have to understand this is literally a geographical east west battle that's taken place. This is not the battle for quote unquote religious or religion, although they try to frame that narrative and don't even hardly understand. Number one, the people that the players in the game, the players in this conflict, who they actually are. And number two, most don't even understand that that land isn't even our land. And it is not even the land of Israel, historically speaking. Shout out to Evie Anita bringing out some receipts of how they wanted to have Israel originally as Uganda, Kenya, but they couldn't do Uganda because they didn't have any type of seaports. And the Maasai was not going to allow it. And let me tell you, the Maasai, there ain't no punks. They got them in Tanzania, and they got them with their wooden clubs that can beat you down on sight. I'd always wave to the Maasai like, hey, they'd come on out, they'd swing their clubs because they weren't playing. And it was funny because invariably they kept order. They were be the actual maintainers of order, and it was actually pretty nice to see how, you know, the Tanzanian locals, how they had reacted to them. They'd be in their Maasai wardrobe, their wrap overs, with their belt, and their belt would have their clubs. So imagine when you're dealing with millions of them on the ground and you're trying to say that you're bringing over some folks from Europe to go into Uganda, into interior Africa with no type of access to any type of seaports. They're like, no, that's a suicide mission, and it got rejected. And I guess supposedly Australia was one of those. That was the first I heard of it. My question is this, because I don't think we're asking the obvious questions here with what's getting ready to happen. My question is this: what happens in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks when the fighting is going? And guess what? The Europeaners that's there get overrun and they are forced to evacuate. Where do they evacuate to? Has anybody thought about that? Where do they evacuate to? We get so ingrained that, oh, well, they're going to go to Europe. I don't think they're going to go to Europe. In my calculus, I think they're going to come right over to America. They're going to come right over here. Well, we bought some carrier strike groups. We bought some extra ships, and, now we're going to send them on over. And then they'll create some sort of dialect of how that was prophecy that they were going to be sent over to America, because then America is a promised land, and they were fooled because Aelia Capitolina wasn't the promised land. And there you go. When that starts to happen, family, I'm out. That's a promise. Because who do you think will be the next versions of what took place there in that state of apartheid? Well, you'll hear Biden say, "Oh, well, this is a significant national security event, and we need to ensure that we do all of our best to maintain security." Oh my goodness. Do we not see these dominoes falling into place? The African American community didn't vehemently support what was going on, and now that these refugees are coming here, and that's something I'm looking at. That's something I'm looking at, and exactly where do you think they'll run to? Our neighborhoods. Get them on out, because why? They'll come right on in. Oh, and not only will they come on in, they'll come on in with, reparations. Oh, you didn't get your reparations? Well, I got reparations, and yep, we're good. What? Reparations for what? Oh no, that's what they called it. Now that we're refugees and stuff like that. Oh, the stranger that will be among us will do what? Will be exalted. And that will be the same rhetoric that they'll say, well, don't worry, you're in service to the people of the book. Whoa, 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 whoa. You can't come on over here with that one now. Do you know how many Bibles will be open amongst our people? You want to know how much the people will be reading the word? Oh, you're trying to kick me on out of my house? Well, we have to reassign it. You want to kick me out of my apartment? Oh, we got to do this. It's okay. It's for the Most High's people. See? You'll be a good Christian. And I say that because I was having this conversation with my mom yesterday. And I see it going that way because I literally see them saying that. These pastors and these church leaders, well, we got to pray for Israel. We got to deliver Israel. And the only way that you can pray for Israel and all this other stuff that they'll try to utilize, they will say that not only do you need to, bring your tithe to the storehouse, it's much, you'll be rewarded much more by giving up your possessions, giving up your car if your car's paid for, giving up your house if your house is paid for. And honestly, that's all I can think of with my mom. My house is paid for. Here you go. And not just my mom, but my mom's generation. Because to be honest, shout out to Truth Unedited, Brother Ron, when he was bringing that on out. And that mind control generation, that's the peril. That's the peril that I see our people running into. Where do we go? Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to put you in here. We're going to move you into here. And don't say anything. Just shut up. T3 and me, Stepping Stones to Home, Journey with Us will have so many emails from our folks, it wouldn't even be funny. I don't know who you need to talk to, but this is what they're doing. Because why? Because they want us. If you don't understand what's literally happening, they want us to go back into our second class citizen state. This is why, family. This is why. And I had to see that. So I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, Father, you're making it plain. Wow. Hallelujah. Father, you're making this plain. I get it now. I see it now. Wow. And we would just be sitting here like, oh, well, everything is fine. Everything is good. Nothing to worry about. They have us in our FEMA camps and we're playing games, and they have basketball hoops, they have a football field, we have game stations to play all the spades and dominoes that we want. As we get reassigned our educational groups, re-education assignments. Why do we need to go through the re-education assignments? Oh, because uh, according to our calculations via AI, you know, you all are seen as the group that would be the most adversely affected, and with those adverse effects, that can be very detrimental to this new change in posture. All of the all the other stuff that they're going to try and feed us, the one liners. Oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Before we can let you back out into society. And I'm just giving worst case scenarios. And it will be our people that would be willingly giving up their property. Oh, if for those that bless Israel, they'll be blessed. I want you all to think about that. I want you all to understand and consider what it is that we're actually seeing. No, brother Karras, I can't see that. I can't see that happening. Okay. This is why this thing is slowed. If they really truly felt that they were going to get on out of this with a win, they would have attacked 3 days ago. I'm just being painfully obvious. If they truly thought that they could get on in there and have that win, they would have attacked 3 days ago. You don't put people on standby because why? The longer they stand by, it does reduce the effect of forces. There is a natural attrition rate. You start to lose and you start to have a diminished capacity of all those folks you're standing by with. MREs, food, ammunition, because why? You're doing live fire exercises while what? While folks are standing by. You're taking them to the range, making sure that they're zeroing in, making sure that they're cleaning their weapons, making sure that their ammo is up and going. And remember, they plan for contingency plans. They plan for all this. You never know what it is that they may be doing. They may be saying, we're running into this place, and they're literally leaving. If they literally said that you unbroken a deal for the evacuation of the state of Israel, it can be done. It's only 11 million people or 12 million. I don't even know what the thing is. We dealt with this last year in Ukraine, where you now have 17 million people living abroad, half of Ukraine's population. So is it that far fetched of a reality to think of that? It just depends on who you ask. My opinion is it's not that far fetched. How many months you giving us? Oh, you giving us 3 months? Okay. You're clearing out these zones? Okay. Because isn't it always funny that what man says they're going to do, something always ends up happening totally unrelated. We're keeping everybody at bay so we can evacuate. The gig is up. I see that happening. I'm sorry. I do see that happening. Because it isn't it funny we always think about the worst, and then the Most High just does something that's so completely left field. And then we look at it and it's like, oh, that explains it. As we're sitting around playing spades. Yeah, that's 11 books. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Look. As soon as they made that UN announcement, I was like, oh, snap. I was just surprised that, man, I was out my house 3 weeks later. I didn't even know that they could do eminent domain for this. Well, you'll be learning how to play spade in them FEMA camps. You'll be a pro in less than a day. I don't think the white supremacists will go berserk. I don't think so. So yeah, so I just want to get on in here real quick, family, and just kind of, that was my perspective on things. Because to me, you know, if it would have happened, it would have happened already. And I'm going to tell you this: do not be surprised if they start saying that, if they start pushing that in the media. So what would happen if they have to evacuate? What would happen if they have to leave? What country would they go to? Would they go to the United States? Hey, it's supposed to be a noble effort. Come on, black folks. You need to chip in. You need to sacrifice. Isn't it amazing that every 100 years or so, especially the last 100 years, last time, there are budding communities that were appropriated, maliciously appropriated. I'm just saying. And now here's a serious potential of that happening. And nobody's thinking about it. Everybody's worried about P. Diddy paying $1 million, supposedly, for people dying. Because here's the thing, if that were to happen to us, that would not be broadcasted at all. These are a lot of the things that we have to consider. Jeff, it's always been dwelling in the tents of Shem. Because why? We've always been supporting not just this nation, but other nations abroad. To include that one, they still get billions of dollars of support each and every year. So if you're supporting the place and, now the neighbors are saying that you got to go, we're about to evict you now. Let me just pack up my stuff. So we're in a very interesting place, family. Because to me, in this time, anything could happen. And I mean anything. Will they use a nuclear weapon in this case? In my opinion, no. But what I do and what I can see happening is that potential human movement and that potential human movement effort. I can see that happening. That thing just dropped in my spirit like a rock today. I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't get on at this time. I'm usually getting ready for Quest 2 Night Africa in the 11 a.m. Eastern meeting. Talking about the opportunities that we have and that's been provided. In several nations on both the east and west coast of Africa. And Garth, did you see the bucket Negro? Colonel, it's the major. His eyes were bucking so bad. Oh my goodness. I had to stop. I had to stop. I'm like, oh man. Wait for the manger. Wait for the he's coming. He's coming. The problem is we don't have that type of buckingness in this generation. We just don't. This generation we stopped from looking at media takeout to understanding why are we looking at these distractions to now understanding uh this could potentially happen and no one's talking about it. No one. And then after this broadcast, all the other YouTubers, especially in the non Hebrew world, oh, yeah, well, you know. I'm just saying, especially for the 190, where I only get about 40 likes. They be up in here hard taking notes. You want to know what? That's a good idea. You want to know what? And the funny thing is, this was mentioned earlier this week by Teo with Second Ezra's 15. They're going to go back. They're going to reconsolidate. But at the same time, when they're reconsolidating, that's when I believe we're getting ready to get up on out of here. For those that see it, oh, well, where are you going? Oh, we got to leave. What do you mean you leave it? Yeah. We got to leave. Shh, don't say nothing. Shh. But yeah, family, just keep everyone up in prayer. There's a lot of things that we have to get done this week, family, because now really time is of the essence. I'm not even lying to you, family. Time is of the essence. I'm not going to say lying. I don't lie to you, but I'm saying, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Time is of the essence. I honestly used to think that it was going to be about April, May of next year that this stuff was going to start going down. We would start making our movement, and probably about, October, December, we would be in full force on the move. My timetable shot. If Brother Mike was on here, he'd tell you, Karis, I think it's sooner than that. Yeah, you're going to be making room. But your sacrifice will be greatly appreciated by the world community. That's what they'll tell you. So this is where we're at, family. My question has been, how much time do we have left? How much time is the Most High giving us that's left? And will we make the most of it? And you also have to understand this too, family. The moment that they go in, boots on the ground, into Gaza, the moment this economy, the markets, it'll tank. And then when the markets tank, China and Russia can pounce and say, look, do you see that they're doing their quote unquote backstop or circuit breaker and they're not allowing for a free flowing market? And then that's going to cause a lot more bonds to be sold off. Oh, we're not even going to get a return on anything. Let me get on out of here because now what I'm holding is worthless. When you're holding something and the value of what you're holding is less than what you paid for it, oh, that starts to hurt. You mean that the thing I paid $200 for is now only worth $150? Oh, yeah, that starts to hurt. I can't even get rid of this. I can't even sell this. This is going to me, not last week wasn't just interesting. It was very blockbuster blockbuster like blockbuster esque. This week is going to be appalling esque. This week is please ensure that you have your emergency supplies. This week is please ensure that you have a list of things needed, candles, things of that nature. Enough food, water, whatever you think you need. This is that week. Don't play around with it, family. That's what I'm going to be focusing on this morning in our emergency preparedness plans and things of that nature. We try to plan, we try to prepare, we try to see how we can coordinate things both here in the diaspora and also on the ground in the continent. But family, this is warp speed now. And for us to get things done quickly, we need funds. That's just how it goes. And that's why I say, I ask the Most High that He puts it on your heart to provide. Because to me, in my human voice, my little pathetic human voice, it doesn't mean anything. When he puts it in your heart and his spirit says something, oh, well, let me tell you, that's when mountains move. And I'm just praying that it's not just us. I'm praying that it's also our people from all over the world. I'm praying that it's our people in these countries here on the continent. I'm praying that it's our people in the African Union that understand and recognize this and that reach on out to Quest to Unite Africa. I'm praying that their hearts start to get drawn in an understanding of what the Most High is doing. We're here in these times. Sorry, family. I'm getting texts. This is the time I usually I'm working. Hallelujah. I work Sunday through Friday. And I don't complain about it because you want to know why? Because I know that this is a season that we have to put in the work. We have to put in the effort. I'm not just doing this stuff for my family. I'm doing this stuff for our people. And I'm doing the work that the Most High has instructed me to do. Could I be comfortable working back in IT again, doing this, doing that? Yeah, I could be comfortable. But it's funny because now folks understand that that season of whatever wealth and prosperity that was there, that season's quickly dissipating. And it came on, and then all of a sudden, but it was funny because in our spirits, we knew something big was getting ready to happen. We knew it. We were talking about that on this channel a month ago, a week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, something's going on. We could see it. We could feel it. We could feel the tension. We could feel how things are working against us. But we also know that when the Most High moves, he moves in a big way. So, family, I'm going to shut this on down because I got some meetings this morning to get to in a few. Please pray for our people. Please pray that our family begins to wake up. Please pray that our friends, that the people begin to wake up. And that's not for us, but Gentiles included. So I need to get going because everybody's starting to stir up. Hallelujah. I get these texts here and there. Hallelujah. So, family, most high willing, I will be back on tomorrow. This week is going to probably be a little different how I do the format. So, these last 2 months on Covenant Awakenings, it was like preparing for battle, preparing for the spiritual warfare, and now this warfare is here. So now the strengthening of our Elohim during this battle. And here's the kicker to this. Here's the kicker to this. The Most High doesn't have us lift now one finger. We don't have to lift one finger in this. Because all we're doing now is just giving him praise. All we're doing now is just giving him glory as a people. And all we're doing now is just raising and lifting our voice. Our voices. Our voices is what tears down strongholds. If you don't believe that, we literally just had the Feast of Atonement prayer. Not even 3 weeks ago. And look at how the world was turned upside down. Excuse me. You better understand the power that we have in this. That's why I said what I said. I believe that. They'll bring them on over, and then we validate them and praying for them. Well, don't you want to pray for them? Don't you? Yeah. The final moves on the chessboard. The final moves, family. So with that said, family, for those, I'll see you at the 11 a.m. Eastern teams meeting, our general teams meeting. And if I don't see you then, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. And let me tell you, a lot can happen in 24 hours. I'm just saying. But be mindful and be aware. And with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.